The countries of North America have pretty much been the same for the last 100 years or so, but there were dozens of different countries before the lines on the map became what they are today. In this video, we'll look at some of the countries that used to exist before the 20th century. Now first, I'm going to establish some boundaries. Otherwise, every self-proclaimed country would be a candidate for this video. I'm going to use the definition typically used to define a country with limited recognition. So first, it needs a defined territory, a permanent population, a government, and a capacity to enter into relations with other states. This is also called the declarative theory. But we'll also add that at least one other sovereign state needs to recognize it. This is called the constitutive theory. But I'll be a little loose with this definition since it wasn't even established until the 19th century. I didn't include every country that fits this definition, which includes some of the more well-known countries, like the Confederate States of America, the short-lived sovereign states that seceded from the Union and then joined the Confederacy, the Republic of Texas, and the Aztec Empire. For this list, I simply chose countries I thought were interesting and not as well known. But anyway, let's get started with the first country. Our first country is the Iroquois Confederacy. It was a Native American country that comprised of the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, giving the Confederacy the English name the Five Nations, and later the Six Nations, with the acceptance of the Tuscarora in 1722. It's unclear when exactly the Confederacy was founded. Arguments have been made that the Confederacy was founded after a solar eclipse in 1142, but the Confederacy was at least founded as far back as the 16th century. It's possible that the United States borrowed ideas about democracy from the Iroquois Confederacy when the U.S. Constitution was being written, but historians have debated for decades on exactly how influential the Iroquois were, if at all. The United States seal may have also been influenced by the Iroquois. The U.S. may have borrowed the cluster of arrows, which is seen by the Iroquois as a symbol of unity, and the eagle, which is seen as a powerful animal, and is placed atop the Iroquois symbol, the Tree of Peace. The Confederacy still exists, but it has not been recognized as a sovereign nation since the end of the American Revolutionary War. Next on the list is another Native American country, the Cherokee Nation, which existed as a sovereign state from 1794 to 1865. Before 1794, the Cherokee had no standing national government. Instead, the nation was made up of autonomous towns. These towns elected leaders to represent the nation to the French, British, and the United States authorities as needed, but this became more formalized at the conclusion of what was called the Cherokee-American Wars in 1794. The nation was split in the 1830s with the forced removal of thousands of Cherokee to Oklahoma, known as the Trail of Tears. The nation was absorbed into the United States as an autonomous region at the conclusion of the Civil War. The Cherokee Nation still exists in three separate tribes, but not as fully sovereign nations. One tribe in North Carolina with around 16,000 members, a tribe in Oklahoma with around 14,000 members, and a second tribe in Oklahoma, which is the largest of the three and is known today as the Cherokee Nation, with over 450,000 members. But before I move on to the next country, I want to share with you today's sponsor, Skillshare. You may know Skillshare for their classes in photography, film and video editing, and illustration, but Skillshare also has hundreds of career-focused classes that can help you achieve your goals. I've been taking Skillshare classes myself. My goal is to make more videos per month going forward, without sacrificing video quality or time with family. I tend to underestimate how long something is going to take me, as well as how much time I'm spending on tasks that don't add much value to my videos. So I've been taking Skillshare classes in productivity and time management to help me achieve this goal. And I completed a class in Spanish pronunciation because I've received quite a few comments about me pronouncing words wrong that are in languages other than English. If you would like to try out one or more of their hundreds of courses, the first 1,000 people to join Skillshare using the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial. Our next country is the Republic of Madawaska, which existed for only a few months in 1827. The John Mitchell map, which was used to create the border at the 1783 Treaty of Paris, wasn't perfect, and so the border between the United States and Canada wasn't exactly clear at the time. An American man named John Baker moved to a piece of the disputed territory in 1817, and in 1825 began petitioning the state of Maine to accept the surrounding area into the state. Baker then began pushing back against British authority by blocking mail meant to be sent to Quebec. On July 4, 1827, he declared the Republic of Madawaska's independence and held a celebration at his house, inviting all Madawascan settlers, which was around 2,000 people, and included both American and French settlers. A flag was sewn by his wife, which was raised. He was arrested by the British in September and spent 13 months in jail. The boundary dispute was finally settled in 1842, with what was the Republic of Madawaska going to Canada. Our next country is in what is today Nevada County in the U.S. state of California. It was called the Great Republic of Rough and Ready. This country declared independence on April 7, 1850. The formation of this country was an attempt by a Wisconsin mining company known as the Rough and Ready Company to avoid paying mining taxes. Its elected president wrote in his manifesto, "We deem it necessary and prudent to withdraw from said territory and from the United States of America, to form, peacefully if we can, forcibly if we must, the Great Republic of Rough and Ready." But the self-declared nation voted to rejoin the Union less than 3 months later on the 4th of July. It's unclear why they had a quick change of heart, but the rumor is that neighboring saloons, still in the United States, refused to sell to foreigners, and this was enough to get Rough and Ready citizens to change their mind. Or maybe they just felt extra guilty on the 4th of July, the United States Day of Independence. Our next countries were started by an American doctor and lawyer named William Walker. Walker invaded Mexico on 2 different occasions to form his own country. Inspired by America's manifest destiny and the Republic of Texas, which existed from 1836 to 1846, Walker wanted to create his own buffer colony between the U.S. and Mexico. He first asked the Mexican government if he could create a colony for the purpose of protecting the U.S. from raids by Native Americans. They of course said no, and so in October of 1853, he marched into Mexico with 45 armed men, took the city of La Paz, the capital of Baja California, and declared the Republic of Baja California with himself as president. But Walker faced stronger resistance from the Mexican government than he had planned for, and he never gained complete control of the entire area that he claimed. So maybe it shouldn't actually be included on this list. Months later, he declared the Sonora region to be part of his country, taking the new official name, the Republic of Baja California and Sonora. He was forced out of the region in May of 1845. Walker was put on trial in the U.S. for violating the peace treaty agreed upon by the United States and Mexico after the Mexican-American War, but he had strong support from much of the American public. The jury acquitted him in only 8 minutes. The following year, he overthrew the Nicaraguan government and declared himself president there, but that also ended in failure. He made one last attempt to create an independent nation, this time on the islands off the coast of Honduras, but this one ended with him being executed by firing squad. The last countries I'll cover in this video are the many countries of Florida that existed in the first half of the 19th century. The first was the state of Muskogee, a Native American nation founded by a loyalist veteran of the American Revolutionary War, with the dream of forming a united Native American nation across southwest North America in order to resist the United States' expansion across the continent. The state of Florida, also known as the Republic of West Florida, which was started by Americans in a piece of land claimed by the United States, but according to Spain wasn't included in the Louisiana Purchase. Despite the name, it was actually completely located within modern-day Louisiana. Then there was the Republic of Florida, also known as the Republic of East Florida, which was another breakaway state from Spanish rule. And lastly, the Republic of the Floridas, which was meant to unite East and West Florida, but the only area its leaders had control over was a small island on Florida's east coast. And that's all for this video. Thank you to all my Patreon and YouTube members for supporting the channel, and thank you all for watching.